Florida just added 32,000 more homes for sale compared to last year, so it is no surprise that prices are quietly sliding, sales are down, inventory is piling up, and buyers now have more negotiating power than we've seen in years. Let's break it down, why this shift matters, and what to do about it. Hey everyone, Jake Fletcher here with the Fletcher Group at eXp Realty, your Greater Miami real estate agent, and today we're diving into Florida's July market performance, one data point at a time, showing you what matters most if you're ready to buy. Sales, inventory, prices, speed, negotiation, power, cash, sales, everything that's ahead is what you need to know in order to make the best informed decision for your family. And in the description down below is my Calendly link to book a consultation with me completely free so that you can strategize your personal situation. And without any further ado, guys, let's just jump on into it, okay? Now, first graph we're going to be talking about here is closed sales. We saw 31,354 deals closed in July, which is down from 32,981 last July over here, okay? That is a 1,627 home drop or 4.9% fewer sales year over year, okay? So if you're waiting on the sidelines, this could be your chance with less competition, which can mean more opportunity, okay? Next up, let's take a look at inventory, all right? Inventory, we're looking at 191,288 homes on the market, okay? That is a jump of 20.6% from last July's 158,612, okay? Now, I didn't mention before, but this is for all homes, okay? Normally, I look at Florida segmented as single-family homes and then condos, but we're just looking at the market as a whole, by the way, okay? So we're off of the April high over here of basically over 200,000. It was 204,000, but inventory is still elevated, and that gives buyers a real edge right now. You have a lot of leverage with inventory being this high. I mean, look, you know, it's higher than it's been in over 2 years, okay? Now, new listings coming up next here. Shibbity boom. Let's take, whoa, what's going on? What's going on here? We going crazy. I don't want to give you guys, you know, advanced information before we get to it. All right, so new listings came in at 42,884, slightly below June's 43,683, and 5.1% down from last July's 45,186 over here, okay? So less new listings, you know, fewer fresh, less fresh meat hitting the market, yet inventory is still high overall. So what does that mean? Less sales, okay? Shift in momentum is what we are watching here live on the Jake Fletcher Miami Real Estate channel for you guys, okay? Now, next up, let's look at months of inventory. Months of inventory basically standing at 6.6, okay? It's down a little bit from June 6.7, but up 29.4% from last July's 5.1 months of inventory over here. So overall, trend line showing months of inventory is racking up, okay? Again, if you're new to this channel, months of inventory, all that means is how long would it take to sell the current supply of listings if no new listings hit the market. So based on the amount of sales that are happening and then the total supply, okay? Now, that is a clear slowdown in absorption, okay? And more time for buyers to decide, okay? So again, more leverage for buyers is the theme of the real estate market right now in Miami, in Florida, and across the entire country is buyers have time to check out the listings. You know, it's not the pandemic anymore where as soon as a listing hit the market, you had to, you know, name your first child after the seller. That was actually a real story that happened. But, you know, you have more time to check things out and decide, okay? Now, looking at median sale price, we have dipped, okay, down to $375,000 in July from $379,990, basically $380,000 in June, and that is a 2.6% decrease compared to last July's $385,000, okay? So last July, was right here, 385,000, which was a big dip from almost 395 the month before. So, you know, in that time, we've seen a pretty big decrease overall in prices, median sale prices in the Florida market, okay? So the market is softening. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but don't expect a huge crash, okay? You know, like I said in you know, one of my last videos, somebody predicted a 40% drop in one of my comments recently. Shout out to them if they're watching. You know, thank you for watching. But that's a bet that I would take personally. I'm not expecting a 40% drop in prices, but you know, we have seen 2% less than last July, right over here. So you know, we could see more pain in the market. We could see more pain in the median sale prices. Only time will tell. And you will only know if you subscribe to my channel. So smash the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoy these granular detail videos. Now, time to contract, this days on market basically has moved to 53 days, up from 50 days in June and up a whopping 29.3% from last July's 41 days. So things are slowing. You know, this is basically a result of, you know, higher insurance costs, worse affordability, interest rates being high. All of these things are playing a part, but the word is that we may see a rate cut in September, okay? So, you know, basically what that means is if we see a big rate cut in September, we could start seeing more competition coming back into the market here in Florida. Florida is still a very high demand state, okay? So if we see interest rates coming down, you know, we could start to see more competition moving into the market, okay? Now, moving on here, median percent of original list price is now at 94.3%, down from 94.6% last month and down from 95.7% last July, okay? So the more this slides, the more bargaining power shifts to buyers, okay? And with high inventory and slower sales, this really makes sense, okay? And by the way, you know, the median percent of original list price is basically just an average across the market of how far are sellers having to come off of their original list prices in order to get a deal done. So if a condo or whatever property is listed for $100,000 and it sells for $90,000, that's a 90% median percent of original list price, okay? Now, finally, let's take a look at cash sales as a percentage of closed sales, okay? So what percentage of all these houses and condos that are actually selling, what percentage of those are actually cash? So we're at 32.8%, just slightly lower than 33.0% in June and 33.1% in July. So a little bit less cash coming into the market. Usually cash buyers represent investors in the market. So less investor confidence in the market. Perhaps they're waiting to see if prices will go down even further. But cash is still king for some, okay? Cash is king for everybody, right? But we're still seeing this, you know, tiny move backward towards finance deals. Another positive for buyer access if you are a first-time buyer or somebody who's not a cash buyer, because you have less competition from cash buyers in the market, okay? Now, let's wrap this thing up. What does all this mean, okay? Fewer closed sales, more inventory, prices are easing, you know, deals are taking longer to close or longer to go under contract. Buyers are gaining negotiation power in a very real way. There's a ton of softness in the market, but no crash, okay? So thus far, at least. But with potential rate relief coming in September, you know, we could see things turn around. You know, we'll definitely be the first to cover it on this channel. But the moral of the story is you have more options than you've had in a long time. And if you're looking to take advantage or curious how this plays out in your neighborhood, in your personal situation, book a consultation with me down below via my Calendly link. It's completely complimentary. You've got more room to negotiate, more time to decide, and real opportunity to buy smart, okay? So use this timing, use the momentum that's going towards buyers in your favor if you're a buyer in this market. Jake Fletcher here with the Fletcher Group at eXp Realty, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.